Good evening. Welcome to ILFL Soccer Night. I'm joined today by Jermaine on my right and Phil from Garrel Stars. On my left, we've got Rashid and Hasnath. We've got a packed show of football to go through today. We've also got the live draw of the Vets Cup to go through in the last segment. Unfortunately, there's no live footage today, so there's more to discuss, more to talk about, and I'm sure Rashid, Jermaine and Phil will have their thoughts on the football to come. We had the massive Champions Cup semi-finals on Sunday. Phil is from one of those teams. If you look at the screen, the results are on there. FC Bartlett lost narrowly to London Meteors 1-0, and it was a thrilling 9-goal thriller between MK Galacticos and Garrel Stars. MK taking the tie 6-3. Phil, you were there yesterday. The weather wasn't the greatest. How was it for you guys?
Well, first of all, that was an understatement about the weather. That was honestly the worst conditions I've ever managed or played in 10 years. But aside from the weather, because it was the same for both teams, we were up against a really good side in MK Galacticos. They are a pretty complete side. They had a lot of pace and strength and creativity, and we struggled at times. We let in a couple of easy goals to start with, but we clawed our way back into the game. 2-1 it was at half time. It was a pretty close first half, not much in it, and then Galacticos just pressed a button for 10 minutes in that second half and just scored 3 goals straight away in like 10 minutes and blasted us away. And it's always pretty difficult to come back from a 5-1 deficit, but to be fair to us, we got it back to 5-3, and then they scored at the end to make it 6-3. So we gave it our all. But I tell you what, the team that beats MK Galacticos are going to do really well, because they've got really pacey wingers. They've got a very strong striker, and man of the match was their centre midfielder, who was a very creative, strong player who we struggled against. Good words about Galacticos there, Phil. Thank you. We'll come back and talk more about Garrel Stars in a little while. Rashid, you were there for the London Meteors and FC Bartlett game. Meteors once again finalists. They look like a hard team to beat, right?
Unlucky for FC Bartlett. It's the second time they lost in their semi-finals. So, but compared to last year, I think they've improved this year much better than last season. So I think next season, hopefully, they can obviously push on and try and get to the final. But London Meteors, we said it from the first, the champions from last year, back in the final again, deservedly. I think they are one of the teams that everyone looked out for, and FC Bartlett just couldn't manage to get a goal. They scored a nice free kick goal in the second half, the Meteors, and managed to hold back FC Bartlett until the 90th minute. And so, well done to London Meteors and unlucky FC Bartlett.
Jermaine, London Meteors, MK Galacticos final. What are your thoughts?
Well, if Real Madrid's playing Barcelona that night, I'll be watching this game because this is the game, I wanted to see, and there was always a possibility one of them could have got knocked out, but they are going to be playing each other. It's going to be a really good game. I like the look of Galacticos and London Meteors as well. They've got their own buttons to press as well.
We discussed this a couple of weeks ago, where we said Meteors and Galacticos look favourites to go to the final, and definitely. They haven't disappointed, have they?
No, they haven't, and they're amazing football. Pace, skill, like Phil said, amazing, and it's going to be a very interesting game, because I think they're very fit sides as well. It's not just about the skill and the pace, they're very fit, and it'd be very interesting who takes their chances.
Well, there you go. The final of the Champions Cup is going to be between London Meteors and MK Galacticos sometime in March, so stay tuned and we'll announce the final dates in the following shows to come. But let's turn to Garrel Stars. If you look at the screen, this is their route to the semi-final. The very first game was against one of our own league teams, Beaumont, beating them quite convincingly 4-1. They then played Stepney, another ILFL league team, beating them 2-0. And then obviously we know the score between themselves and MK Galacticos. Phil, so tell us a bit about your team in general.
Well, yeah, we're a club who's got 2 teams, and what's happened this year, while we've had a particularly strong season, is because we've changed it from being a sort of evens team between. We put a few players who are good on both teams, so you make sure that both teams have the ability to do well. But we were finding that we were getting a bit of mediocrity in both teams not really progressing. So what we did this year is we actually create an elitist structure. So if you're the best player in the B team, you get promoted to the A team. And so Gower All-Stars actually generated the best players from the whole club, and that's made a real difference because we've actually got strength in all positions this year, and so everyone's fighting for their positions. We're getting 14 turning out every week, and that makes a difference at this level on a Sunday. You know, you get 14 players, you've got options on the bench, and you've got everyone in quality in those key positions, and you're not missing links and things like that. So we're actually done really well this year. We're in 3 semi-finals now, 2 as a result of yesterday, but 2 semi-finals, and we're winning our league by 4 points. So a lot to play for this year, but you haven't won anything yet. So I'm very much telling my players, you know, you've set yourself up for a brilliant start to finish this season off, and now you've really got to pull the trigger and actually come away with some silverware. And we're up against, just so you know, the MA league that we play in is quite a competitive league, despite its name and the musical association. It is actually quite a strong league, and history shows that the Red Star Camden won the London Cup about 10 years ago and won our league 7 years in a row, and then and then we stepped up and we won the league, and the last 3 years has been dominated by a team called Tufnell Park Rangers, and they've won the league 3 years in a row and a couple of doubles in there as well. So we're up against them this year, trying to dismantle them from their title, and we could be playing them in three finals, including a league title final at the end.
Well, Phil, thanks for the feedback, and good luck to your endeavours in all fronts.
No problem.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you in the next year of the Champions Cup again.
We look forward to it.
But there was other football in the ILFL as well. So if you look at the screen, there were 2 Premier League games between Sire and Leytonstone. This is Sire's first win, so a big well done to Sire and congratulations. Stepney beating Bromley 6-1 and keeping up their chase in the Premiership for the title. If we have a quick look at the Premier League table as it stands, we can see that Stepney and Tigers lead the table with 26 points each. Beaumont narrowly behind on 21, and you see Sire at the foot of the table, having recorded their first win. They're on 4 points jointly with Leytonstone. There was also football in the first division. If you look at the screen, it's the game between Reachout and Bow was a fight for second place really, and Reachout came out top on 5-2. Weavers versus Bedet. Bedet won that game 5-1, and an away win was awarded to CTA against St Catherine's. If we look at the first division table, for those of you who have worked it out, well done to you. The top 2 teams there, CTA and Reachout, have already been promoted to the Premier Division. We talked about these teams a lot, Rashid. So what do they bring with themselves to the Premiership next season?
The key thing is the physical and strength they possess with both teams. They're really, really strong. A lot of players have got technical ability, so I think there'll be a good quality to add to Premiership with the skill and the strength they bring with the players and the teams for those 2 teams in particular.
Yeah. As you can see, with 2 games to go, SCTA and Reachout have made the promotion to the Premiership. Bow narrowly missed out. I think if Bow had won that game against Reachout, they would have been in the contention for promotion as well. We've got Bow, Stepney, Bromley Juniors all sitting mid-table, and we've got Weavers at the foot of the table on 4 points. And finally, the second division results were as follows. Beaumont Youth banged in 10 goals against Hamlets B. Western Reserves had an enthralling encounter with Redcoat, winning 5-4, and St Catherine's Juniors under 21 narrowly losing to Robin Hood Tigers 5-1. Hasnat, let's bring you in here. Robin Hood Tigers doing what they do, which is winning.
Yeah, if anything, I have to give credit to St Catherine's under 21 because the reverse fixture of this was quite emphatic, so let's not go over that anymore. So, you know, big improvement. I think Robin Hood did sort of set out that gameplay where they were going to actually give their squad players more game time. I mean, the way the table's standing now, I mean, Beaumont are doing what they have to keep the chase up there, but they're 2 points apart. We're going into the final game, which I'm sure we're going to pick up on the upcoming fixtures, but next week is the final game for all the teams in the second division, and really and truly Robin Hood need to record a victory to wrap this up, because a draw won't do it. As the table stands, I mean, Beaumont's goal difference is better, so if Robin Hood draw and Beaumont get the win, Beaumont will actually nip it, considering Robin Hood's been sitting top since week 3. So it's going to be quite a tense one, but it is out of them two. I think both of them two, if we're looking at sort of stepping up, they are very good additions to the first division. And there's no doubt even the two teams that will come down from the Premiership will still make it a very tough first division. So, I mean, we've been talking about Beaumont Youth and Robin Hood in the second division a lot. I think when we look at the other teams, they're all virtually new teams. They have been good additions. I think St Catherine's under-21s have probably learnt the hard way that even our second division is a very tough place to play in. But the other teams, I mean, Riverside and Redcoat, well done to Redcoat actually. You know, they've secured third place. Very unfortunate to lose to Riverside over the weekend, but I mean that just shows now that these teams have really set themselves up, and I can see any of them, Tower Hamlets-B, Almazan, Redcoat, Riverside, really challenging for the title next year. But no, I mean, a big congratulations and well done to all the 8 teams in the second division. You really have made it quite entertaining, and we really enjoyed it.
Great stuff. And if we take a look at the second division table, it's the same story as the first division. With the game to go, both Robin Hood Tigers and Beaumont Youth have been promoted to the Premiership. Obviously, who finishes where depends on the last game, and we'll discuss that in a little while. We've talked a lot about St Catherine under 21 this year. They are a very young team. They are new to the second division. Majority of the players are 16, 17. I'm pretty sure the experience they're gaining now is invaluable, and in the years to come, they'll grow and become a stronger team together. So good luck to you guys there. The results from the Sonali Otithan ILFL Veterans League is as follows. Beaumont Masters continue their losing streak against Saya. Saya are doing very, very well. This is their second win on the bounce. London Tigers lost 1-0 to Bromley Legends. Abahani beat Tower Hamlets, the current champions, 3-1. There's a lot of interesting results in the Vets, Rash.
We said that from day one. With the 7 teams, anyone can actually beat anyone on given days. So I wasn't surprised with Saya. I wasn't surprised with Abahani. It's so close. It's impossible to call on a day. It depends who turns up, who wants it more. Okay, and if we take a look at the veterans table, we can see that Bromley are sitting nicely at the top with 5 points clear of the team below them from Beaumont Masters. London Tigers and Abahani are very close by, so Sire on 9 and 8 points. Tower Hamlets, current champions, not doing too well, are they? Well, unfortunately, they're struggling from week 1. So it just goes to show, if you're not prepared and give 100%, in other teams will maximize, and they have.
There's another team sitting at the bottom of the table, St Catherine's. They had a very strong form towards the end of last season. What's happened to them, Hasnath? What's the difference this year?
Well, can't really work it out. I've seen a lot of their games this year, and they're actually going out there and giving teams a difficult time. From the 2 games that I saw, it seems like they just seem to concede early, and they're always on the back foot, and then they're pressing, and the other teams are actually just sitting back, soaking up the press, absolutely wearing the players out. And their finishing isn't there, really and truly. I mean, I know the St Catherine's going to be disappointed with me saying this, but their finishing there, I think the table shows that, I mean, they haven't scored many goals.
4 goals.
Only 4 goals, and everybody else is way ahead of them. That's been the big problem for them, and they seem to get themselves on the back foot and just, you know, an uphill struggle. It was the same story last year. I mean, during the end of the season, they came through strong because they eventually sorted it out. And it seems like they haven't learnt from that lesson, because they've come back into this season, and again, they're sitting at the bottom, losing games narrowly, but still losing the games, and so just finding themselves very difficult to come through. I mean, we didn't have many goals over the weekend, but unfortunately they're the ones that leaked in 3.
Hasnath, thank you for that informative feedback. This is the end of this segment. Stay tuned. We'll come back and talk more about the Vets League in the second and third segments.
আপনারা দেখছেন ILFL সকার নাইট।